Thanks, Stephen. Your top stories: increased police presence in KwaMashu, and Zuma reminds of the role of men in empowering women. Good afternoon, I'm Carmen Reddy. KwaZulu-Natal MEC for Community Safety and Liaison, Mqunu, says more police officers will be deployed around the KwaMashu men's hostel north of Durban. This after an IFP councillor, Themba Xulu, was found dead in a sugarcane field at Inanda Tea Estate north of Durban. Xulu was abducted by 5 armed men from the hostel on Friday night. His bullet-riddled body was found in a decomposing state this morning. Mqunu urged community members not to take the law into their own hands.
If it is true that the body of Councillor Xulu has been discovered and that he has been killed, we want to repeat our call to all members that are affected. Please restrain yourself. Everybody must assist the police with information and all other cooperation that is needed. In the meantime, we also want the police to deploy as many as possible of their members in areas that will be affected.
The ANC's Buffalo City Metro region in the Eastern Cape wants Jacob Zuma to serve as the ruling party's president for a second term. Speaking during a media briefing in East London, the Metro chairperson Zukiza Fako says they also want Gwede Mantashe to remain in his current position.
The reason we want continuity, which means the status quo in terms of the current president, President Zuma, and the current Secretary General, Comrade Gwede Mantashe. We want stability in our organization. We don't want a bruising national conference, because in the policy conference we said the Mangaung conference must be a watershed conference. So we prefer continuity and experience.
President Jacob Zuma has warned that the role of men in society must not be ignored in the course of affirming women. He was speaking at the annual men's conference of the Tyrannus Apostolic Church in Bethlehem in the Eastern Free State. The church was founded in the year 2000 and has around 2,000 branches in several southern African countries. The president has warned that the country will breed a loveless generation of young people if family values are not instilled from a young age.
In affirming women, we should not forget the important role played by men in society as brothers, guardians, fathers, husbands, protectors, and providers in many families. Today, we want to emphasize the role of men in promoting strong families and communities.
International news now. South Korea has announced a deal with the United States to almost triple the range of its ballistic missile system, saying it will counter the threat from North Korea. The whole of the North, along with parts of China and Japan, will be within South Korea's new 800-kilometer range. The BBC's Lucy Williamson reports.
A spokeswoman for the President's office said there was no imminent change of strategy, but that the new agreement was a political symbol of the strong alliance with the US and a deterrent to Pyongyang. South Korea's national security advisor told reporters that curbing military provocations by North Korea was the biggest purpose of the extension. An attempted missile launch by North Korea in April has added to concerns here over the South's ability to counter threats from Pyongyang. The US has more than 28,000 troops in South Korea and provides security guarantees for its ally.
Back home, the South African National Parks has again encouraged South Africans to visit nature parks in order to promote local tourism and boost the country's economy. SANParks will be celebrating 100 years since the existence of Clarence in the Free State, which is the entrance to the Golden Gate Highlands National Park, in 2 weeks' time. SANParks also intends to use the occasion to lure new visitors to national parks. Becky Zwane of SANParks says visiting nature parks is not as expensive as people believe.
We are doing our best to develop what I refer to as the new market, meaning that making sure that the large component of South African public visit the park. So we are doing our best to actually educate people about all the offerings that the park has, and also to paint the picture that visiting the parks is not expensive. Accommodation is very, very reasonable. We have accommodation from as low as just over 300 rands for 2 people.
Recapping your top story at 5 o'clock, KwaZulu-Natal MEC for Community Safety and Liaison Mqunu says more police officers will be deployed around the KwaMashu men's hostel north of Durban.